of May. Last week, Friday, on the good old days, we go shake bottle. We a lot of people know how to talk about. Professor Jimmy Kande say we are all migrants. Salon na a country of people them we comot son side can salon. It's a but. 30 days, then they try to offend the Shabro and the Limba. How they take come? So because they're not able to offend the other side, they are the indigents of Sierra Leone. We will be there now. We see how the topic go. For una we go, they can listen now na YouTube. We see una how una they attack the topic. Una they attack Tripoli. I don't get it if we una can come na YouTube because they can't just not today. They continue the topic now. But anyway, let's forget about tuna self. Because if this topic what they do, you think say not taboo for you, it unholy for you, it's fine. Yeah? Make you skip them and go to other one. But then say, if you don't know where you they go, at least sabi where you come out. Yes? Now make be asked the question last week, say, who that we go blame? Who that we go blame? The history of Sierra Leone, where you be they do history in a school? Seriously, though, what you sabi about Salon? Where you be they do history in a school? Then you go able for realize say, now he make we points them where them be they take for care we go. We're not able all and fine. But before then care we go, people them be there na the ground already. So per last week, people in the ask say, well, wait. Mortal not just the commot and grow like a tick. Mortal not the grow like a tick. So even if professor they say the Limba and the Shabro them, then are indigenous, how they manage find themselves inside Salon? So still they look for that first Limba man. Eh? We find himself na Salon. Ah, où ça il commente? Où ça il commente? But Israel Papa be able to send me another controversial one. And now I want make we look today. When I care Edward Minah, he gets BSc, he gets diploma in education, he gets masters, he gets PhD from Ivan Morris postgraduate award winning at the University of London. Himself being right, but the first inhabitant of Freetown. The first inhabitant of Freetown. Today I go to get small. Then I think I go open the line. But if you want come here, let me make this clear first. If you want come here, for can say Tripoli, when I come up and this stop, you no call. No call. If na that day you want call, the time I get for open the line. If na that day you want call, for can't say we say love forget about this. Hey, I encourage you want no call na ya. Guys for land something. If you feel to say na a no area for you, it's fine. Some of we na guys we like. For low see. You not be listening to last week, you don't miss so. Because this is a continuation, yeah? Wetin Edward Minah see? He want for look first at the peninsula. The peninsula na Salone. You know how they call peninsula na Salone? From Godrich to Tombo. But na through the Godrich end. Where they pass Godrich, I don't care. All inside in the Ogu Farm, Hamilton, Sussex, number 2, Kent, scam round, Tetumbo. A peninsula and the round. Yeah? So, he want for look that side. He said the importance for the one them with professional knowledge. We go make with the public get idea and practical application. We not go able for talk am how important. He say most Salone people are obviously not cultural historians. Most Salone people obviously the history about we culture we not sabi am. So you go find out say just now for today's program mostly apply the different languages that we able learn pa. It says so because for know the history of we culture we not sabi so we need for rely on professionals where they na this kind field. He asks a question. Question number 1. Who were the first inhabitants of Freetown? Who are them? Now be the first people them we tap inside Freetown. So look how in beginner. It's a peninsula up to Songo. I don't tell you just now how this peninsula pass. It said before the Creole and come inside. Today, people and they wondering, people and they try for find out how this may happen. It's a few people we not sabi the history of we culture have wrongling them one or other of the nations next to this peninsula region as the first inhabitants. It says so, this choice, where they don't mistake pa, it based merely on proximity, where they demonstrate both naiveness as well as the need for correct public information. Until they not be right and ready, so everybody they try for say na incorrect by the T way then they try for tell we. But how they go? It say he na a cultural historian. And he get ethnologic knowledge. I am privileged and honored to answer this important question. What's gonna be the question? Who were the first inhabitants of Freetown? 5 empirical evidence they inform me about the first inhabitants of the Freetown Peninsula before the arrival of the Creoles in 1787. What's in evidence? The first evidence is that the Portuguese ship under the captainship of Alvaro Fernandez, which first landed in Freetown Lagoon in 1447. Hey! We go 1447. Did not report finding people living there. He say the first Portuguese ship will land at the Freetown Lagoon inside 1447. No talk say they meet anybody be tap inside Freetown. He say if we left the one for 1447, if we look the second Portuguese sailor, Pedro da Sintra, we come inside 1462. Himself not talk nothing, but say he meet person inside Freetown. Edward Minah say, in a cultural historian and ethnologic knowledge in Getam. So now based on that, now they try for talk to Minah. Yeah. The reason for there be no inhabitants in the area is provided by the second evidence. We don't do first evidence. Wait till we say 1447, Alvaro Fernandez wake out the first ship, not talk say meet person. 1462, Pedro da Sintra wake out the second ship, the Portuguese them, not talk say he meet person. Why Salon? We not get nothing from Portuguese we go remember. Do we? The language? No. Or sometimes I create they will not know. Let's continue. The second evidence, he say, that first evidence lies inside the second evidence. So let's come to the second evidence. The second evidence lies in the two separate historical accounts of pestilence and death, particularly inside the Freetown area. The first account by the money winner Vi, and the second by the British, suggesting the area had not been fit for human inhabitation. Because them begin die. Mosquito them begin bet them. Pest them begin pack for them. They talk see Freetown that Cindy not been fit for human mortal man for tap day. Then we get plenty of healthy and fertile land elsewhere, other side elsewhere. Then we get other side. People had to have overwhelming good reason to live in a mountainous, unhealthy, and deadly place. He say in a cultural historian, so he give you reasons them. He say about the frequent arrival of the Portuguese and Spanish trading sailors in the area for collect fresh water and repair and ship them apparently provided the overwhelming good reason we draw people into the area for make them tap and trade there. Whether them be they trade with the European people where they come. The Vi, that's not the money, down the coast in what became waiting Liberia, where the best organizers pan trading nation inside the region at that time. The Vai, when at the money, they were also the most politically and socially advanced. Now then, I be the first people ever take advantage of the trade the European bring along the coast. Hence, they decided to control it as far north as they could by political conquest and administration of all the nations among the coast, as well as those that border the peninsula, whose side the ship them be the land. However, they were healthy, nevertheless, they not get the numbers, boku people them, for the imperial venture. So because there not be plenty, they can for rely on the numerical strength and military expertise of the groups of Mende and Bandi, where the Bandi na the Loko them. Okay. So now the Mende don't come inside and the Loko. They hire them in the imperial army. Inside 1558, the Vice sent out some Mende and Loko regiments north on espionage and visibility duties ahead of the Sapa conquest in 1560. Both the regiments then they be there under the Vai commanders. Sapa was the name the Vai chose for the imperial conquest. Sapa in Vai means safe expansion. Sa mean for spread and expand. Then pa mean safe. The Loko regiments then send them north inland for spy on the military strength of the nations there, and also study trading visibility with the one they meet today. Then build a center which their Vai commander named Koya Mende. Not Mende, but Mende. Koya Mende. The name means the espionage center of the battalion. The town Koya Mende remains a major town in the Loko country. Koya in Vai means espionage center. Would they learn something? So you get the Loko, you get the Mende. The Loko them, now then get the Koya side. Until we say then go north. So now we come now to the Mende them. The Mende contingent, they sent to the area which became known as Freetown. So the Mende them, and then kind of Freetown. They established their camp on the mountain in the east, from where they could see the ships coming ashore into the lagoon. So now up Mount Toriel. Yeah? Because where they Mount Toriel? The east. Now Mount Toriel the east. Yeah. Now up for Bay College. Whose part? But they say na the east though. Na Moiba. Who that sabi? But how they go? But they say outside and they up the hill, then they see the ship the way they come. So the ship the way they come, a Kinjimi. For let you see Kinjimi, so I need for go. Right. But how they go? They would then deploy down nearer the lagoon to monitor the activities of the sailor and report to the War Command Council, we na kere jury of the Vi government, we be na Toponymy, the capital of the eastern banks of the River Moa. Toponymy and kere jury. Okay. With all waiting and they get that he reports them, they also report pestilence and die among the Mende regiment. So the Mende themselves for inside Freetown for look where they up the hill, then self mosquito bites them. It kill them. And that one day overwhelm them, that the Vi governments may name this Mende regiment Mende Koso, meaning the Mendes of the pestilence news. Eh, we still get Mende Koso na salon. The Mende them where they count the news say mosquito don't make people I know they die. The town they later built on their site of their camp came to be called Sansa Koso, meaning Kosotong, or town of pestilence news. So some part the Kosotong there. And the one of Ruby? No. And the one Hastings? There they go. Wow. Let's read this part. The Mende were thus the first inhabitants of the area that became known as Freetown. Yeah. According to Edward Minah, the Mendes were thus the first inhabitants of the area that became known as Freetown. They do so not by their choice, but on the military service. Nobody not ever choose for live in such pestilential and deadly place. I want to get about say well, the mosquito and the first inhabitants of Freetown. Tijan they ask way to whose kind is this? I tell you say, what's all mango they can give you. All ban. But how they go? He said the deadly experience of this Mende regiment was echoed by the British more than 200 years later, who called the place White Man's Grave. Inside 1843, a report to the Reports Committee of the House of Lords in London by the Sierra Leone Commissioner stated, this is waiting, then found inside 1843, inside the report of the House of Lords. Okay, the report now in this. Of languor and debility in the looks of every individual in midst of European birth, those who are not absolutely ill are always ailing. In fact, all white people seem to belong to a population of invalids. The shallowness of their complexion, the listlessness of their looks, the attenuation of their limbs, the instability of gaits, and the feebleness of their whole frame are but evident signs Freetown, in fact, is a place in focus of pestilential favors, pestilential vapors. Eh? Okay. The British commissioner used the same word, pestilence, which the Vi had used more than 200 years earlier about the deadly experience of the Mende contingent with them be sending mosquito. Malaria and typhoid. Hey, Papa God. Yeah? When I wait lad again quarter force. Because this one, malaria and typhoid don't come. Now the history of Salon they talk about. Eh? Hey. In the 21st century, we still talk about malaria and typhoid. The first people awaken, and still they talk about malaria and typhoid. Salon. Who are we? Eh? Seriously though, who are we? If the first people they talk about malaria and typhoid, eh? 21st century, who they talk about malaria and typhoid, that's alone. Eh, but who are we, bro? Yeah. Eh? Ah, mole, attire. History again. Who shall meet malaria and typhoid? I want turn back. I want turn back. Eh? Wow. So, let's forget about say Salon the old 62 years safe. Let's forget about that side. Eh? Hi! Remember so? Now I meet Swill. Malaria and typhoid. Now the history would depa. Eh? A week straight. A week. Eh? The man go still effects. Malaria and typhoid for more than first Salon. Then meet Andy. Tete do sabi drebam. Eh? Na di ear ide, na brise de kauta. Ah, it's heavy. But family, law continue. Yeah, we just get for be at this normal. Malaria and typhoid, two deadly diseases at the time, were prevalent in the area. Malaria and typhoid. Then be day that Sunday na the area. As the Mende regiment found out, it was not surprising, therefore, that the Portuguese sailor did not report finding any inhabitants there, because no one will live in such a disease-infested mountainous region when there were plenty of healthy and fertile lands elsewhere. Uncle Minah, eh? We they left all the fertile and sober land at the provincial area. Right now, we can't see them. Now this land where you talk say malaria and typhoid bokun. Yes, this part of the country. Minah to Bangla say na doti cause am. According to this, nobody not be dead. Well, if them be dead themselves, malaria and typhoid be don't kill them before they come. Eh? In the best this one, I mean they say history about waiting. In the best this particular one, say nobody no go tap now such a disease infested mountainous region where other plenty of healthy and fertile land than they. I know this yeah. All the man they come outside the fertile land they for come na that disease infected area. You go na the slum, then they. You go up the hill, then they. When they say, well, trade, they're not good one. Well, my dear Mr. Historian now, then they do. Then they do now. But let's continue. It still later was say, the Mende were the first inhabitants of the Freetown area. Remember, now Freetown area they talk about no to Sierra Leone. Eh? You remember you there, eh? Freetown area. My binti say, he said this particular one they read so it don't make sense to him. In fact, he just confused. He said because he want to ask the malaria, who say come up from? He said to him, the post you write so. Well, the post I don't say na Edward Minah. He say, hey, na person we na cultural historian. Eh? And he gets ethnological knowledge. Now here so. We still get for blame the one them. We trade. They not be the right and down. So all man they can give in on. So just keep pulling. You pass on a me lane and they lay on a table. Eh? Malaria and typhoid are the quickest diagnostic for salon doctors. True, memzo. Well, at this they tell you. Who were the first inhabitants of Freetown? According to Edward Minah, the first inhabitants of Freetown have been the Mende them. And not by choice, and because them be joined at the military through the vibe for come for the spy and the sailors the way they come. Eh? It don't give you first evidence. Say the sailors them we been come inside 1442 and 1462. Usai Pedro da Sintra come. Alvaro Fernandez. Na him because the first ship. They not talking that he said they meet Motama inside Freetown. He give you the second evidence. I will go now to the third evidence we in see. Eh? Are you guys with me? I not confuse you, but I've been there. Memzo, thank you for the stars. I know I'm confused pussy here. And say maybe they should have that book in school for history class. Okay. Rhyme say he say we need malaria and typhoid vaccination at salon now. Eh? Joseph say this other history where they get today, you don't full up your mouth. But let they go. Look into Edward Minah in third evidence. The third evidence that the Vai and their allies were the first inhabitants of what became known as Freetown is the cotton tree, which the Vai planted there. So because the Vai them plant the cotton tree, that means say na them first candy. Okay. In the past, until 3 decades ago, the cotton tree was the landmark for all Vai towns. The cotton tree. Now it be the landmark of all the Vai town them. Margaret Ballard said this is history made simple by Edward Minah. He said they planted it in every one of their towns so that travelers at a distance seeing a cotton tree knew there was a town there. The cotton tree beacon was a unique cultural practice of the Vai. It was not found among any other nation in what became known as Sierra Leone. Okay. It was found only in the Vai country and in some territories conquered and colonized by the Vai. Its location suggests it was intended to direct ships to the lagoon a few hundred meters down the hill from it. So that's how we continue now for go Kinjimi. So he say the third evidence na the cotton tree. Now the third evidence say the Mende. Then are the first people them na Freetown. And na the cotton tree we divide them plants. What about the locals? Because now be two group video. Remember, the Mende and the Loko them. The Loko them then send them north. Oh. They send them north. Then the Mende them now then they send a Freetown side. According to which land na. If you follow up though. Look into the fourth evidence. The fourth evidence that the Vai and their helper allies found no inhabitants in Freetown Peninsula is provided by the name of the colonial kingdom they established there. The Vai created and named 4 colonial kingdoms in the territories they conquered. They also established a formal government in Kimi, which was already inhabited by Vai immigrants. The 4 colonial kingdoms were Siboro, when a Shabro. Juliet Ba Attila saying confused. Mama ya? How then give them so said the learn at table. He said the 4 colonial kingdoms were Siboro, when a Shabro, Bomu, Mintombo, and Bore. Siboro, Shabro, we get Bomu, Mintombo, and Bore. Bore was the name they gave to the kingdom comprising the whole of the Freetown Peninsula up to Songo. It is a special name, for it means the most friendly. Bo we mean friendly, and re mean most. So bore mean the most friendly. Some side and they tell you say in what became known as. Then I waiting with the talk now. Eh? So Ezekiel say, I was about to ask about the focus on planting cotton trees and not the main food production trees. He said because now the local villages them they get boku cotton tree. Well, maybe into remember what tell we say the locals them be go north. And so because that the practice of divide them for put cotton tree, so maybe now could get the locals them and the cotton tree. Who were the first inhabitants of Freetown? Now they deal with so. Not to Sierra Leone, Freetown. But I would have loved, like I say, Sibero na Shabro, Bomu, Forbidden Lake for no side Bomu, what became known as Bomu now, waiting and Bomu now, or Mintombo and Bori. Below they go. The most friendly. So in they say, they so named the area because they found no inhabitants there for resist their occupation. Most friendly. They found no inhabitants. I mean, chef, now that part of Tripoli now don't begin confused. If I go in a place, I don't meet nobody. That I call the place say the place most friendly. Most friendly and for me it's possible for open hand for receive me. Or na they become a skitter they know the day. That part of Tripoli they can knock me back on. Eh? That part of most friendly, Bori, most friendly. Now because they no meet person there. Alright. He said because they no meet person there. We for resist them. They simply walked in. Unlike the other territories, they simply walked in, even if they meet person in, I mean, them people are the most friendly. Because they're not fair to safe. Tripoli, why they do this? I history, they just left and day. A man say, in get ethnological knowledge. And a cultural historian. You see, some people in a proximity out of sentiment. So now sentiment and people they want out by this talk here so now. Eh? Most friendly. At top of this one. They simply walked in, unlike the other areas. Well, they walked in. I mean, they said a most friendly place. Fets there. And people are they're welcome, we fine. Alright. There we go. Not only did all the nation resist the Vicon conquest, but some of the peoples, you know, those people the Timni, don't kind sign. In the kingdom of Mintombo in the north, continue to rebel occasionally, first focusing by Farama to maintain a large military presence in the kingdom. So by Farama, na be the viceroy, because the team need them. Occasionally, they can just grab one money no more. then set bongbosoro. Occasionally. Ultimate family. Then they can just grab one thing. Occasionally. Then just even fets no more. In the kingdom of Mintombo, na the north, and continue for rebel occasionally. Now him be forced by Fireman, the viceroy, for maintaining a large military presence in that particular kingdom there. Of the evidence here, I do what? Where they go? Alright. Okay. I history they do. Now what did I say? I talk. Alright. The fifth evidence. We don't. The more they give the evidence, then the more the thing they. For me, I don't left myself for that first one. Who's I say peril as Sintra and Avero Fernandez, but now they go yeah. Okay. Sabeng Santemne. Aye. The fifth evidence is the original native place names. Nations who first inhabited an area gave names to the towns they founded. Such names invariably survive even when new powerful nations come to live with them. Okay. And fifth evidence for say the Mende them inside Freetown and the first people them. In 1560, by employing the Mende and the Loko warriors, the Vai conquered all the coastal nations. The uninhabited, mountainous, and disease-infested peninsula and the Temne and the Limba countries north. We mean to say, the Timni and the Limba them be done there already. Yes. Going north where the Loko then come, because they say the Loko then and then go north as the warriors. For Freetown, in they say na the Mende then force go inside Freetown. Yeah? But now going north, and they'll begin see Timni and Limba. Lag over and the back. In 1560, by employing the Mende and the Loko warriors, the Vai conquered all the coastal nations. The uninhabited, mountainous, and disease-infested peninsula and the Timni and Limba countries north. The Vai conquest of this nation was to control their trade by controlling their government. All imperial conquests have two objectives. The most common objective is the commercial exploitation of the conquered nations. One, the commercial exploitation. Two, reason, in some cases, is the security of the conquering nation. He said by controlling the government and the army of the conquered nation, you remove or greatly reduce the threat of them attacking your nation. Following their conquest, the Vai brought the crew from Liberia. The Vai brought the crew from Liberia to the area that became known as Freetown. This is Freetown. The crew, if I be fine, all the way they tell we so, when I Freetown in the Tarapa, if I don't go back, tell me how the Timni and the Limbadem. Even the Mende and the Loko them with the higher. They all be done did that 10 day. Okay. The crew, and our crew people them were the best seafarers in the region. The vibe brought them in for offloading and loading the European trade ships. The crew established their town, which the Creoles call Crouton. Crouton Road? Where they go? The crew, that time the crew they don't can done. As the whole of this mountainous and pestilential peninsula was uninhabited, still later I say nobody be danger of it. New towns had to be built for the incoming Vai, Mende, and Loko inhabitants. So the Mende, the Loko them, and the Vai them, and then I'll be the first people them inside Freetown. But the Mende them first that them become the engam up the hill for what through the ship then they come. According to Edward Minah Naya. So now I make the Mende then na in say then are the first people them. These latter two groups protected and defended the settlements. Those who were not in military service transported goods inland from the European trading ships and brought back food, livestock, timber, and other commodities that were sold to the European trading sailors. And say nobody not been there. Pedro da Sintra come, he say he no meet nobody. Where would I become for cancel too? Inside Freetown. Eh? A drift? No. Na Freetown no maybe get water side? No. People like they conk you if you know waka. Yeah? Alright. Hey, history. History, if you know able to convince me, not confuse me. The Vai masters named all the towns built to the new settlers. The most important of these towns were Calabar Kisi, when a Kisi, you dey hear, eh? So Kisi in original name na be Calabar Kisi. We dey spell it now Kissy, but na Kissi. Kisi, Messi. I like that. Kisi, Messi. We na Kisi, Mes right now. Koso. Why not tell we Koso right now? Now sign a Koso. Laka. Malama. Rokupa. Okay, Rokupa de, Malama de, Laka de, Tengbe. We na from Tere Magbere. Na Tengbe. Tombo. Benjuma. No, Benguruma. We na Benguma now near Watalo. Tombode and Songo. Anybody fall asleep now? Juliet, but till if you fall asleep now, you see triple H for the make the conquer. Right. Let's go over this back again. The Vice Masters named all the towns built for the new settlers. The most important of these new towns were Calabar Kisi, when a Kisi, Kisi Messi Messi, when a Kisi Mes Mes, Koso, Laka, Malama, Rokupa, Tengbe, when a Tengbe from Tere Magbere, you get Tombo, Benguruma, when a Benguma near Waterloo, and Songo, which is 12 miles east of Waterloo. You get Zimi, when a Jimmy, and you get Tommy, when a Tom, or otherwise King Jimmy and King Tom. Okay. So Susai, King Tom Kansai and King Jimmy Kansai. Otherwise, King Jimmy and King Tom were the compounds of two vice rulers in the area. The senior of the two was Koro Mansa, when I a viceroy, who was titled Naimbana. The other was provincial king Boro Mansa. When I be and the third most important person in the area was Pademba. Pademba. Now be the third most important person in the area. So Susai King Tom, King Jimmy, and Pademba. Vikings did not govern alone. They governed along with their nephew, not their son. The nephew became the prime minister. Dem, D-E-M, Dem in Vai means a nephew. Demba means great nephew. The word great here means important. Pademba was therefore the nephew and prime minister of either King Jimmy or King Tom. So even the historian can't tell exactly who the Pademba been nephew to. Pademba was therefore the nephew and prime minister of either one Padem people are King Tom or King Jimmy. Right. Where you see the historian self, the bots. Well, you already know. In the Vai political constitution, the king had to choose his nephew or some other relative, not his son, as prime minister. In this way, the Vai prevented power being concentrated in the hands of one nuclear family. Okay, the Vai na come then come anyway. So na so then they rule. They never make one family can become so tense and popular thinking to say that they no more. So you know they choose you picking, you boy picking now. Brother or sister picking now you have for choose. Alright. There we go. By this history class. Pademba Road in Freetown was named after him. First, the names of the three most important Vai rulers, King Zimi, King Tommy, Pademba of the area at that time of the early Vai settlers, have survived in additional evidence. The meaning of some of these towns are given below in further evidence. What are the fifth evidence today? So today, Calabar, a great and peaceful land. Ka means land, La means peaceful, Ba means great. Moka Mosewetu. The white man grave history is a different ball game. Who say by book come from? And who that pay to the crew for me then settle in Freetown? And me say na imbana. And so some people will be the talk. But let's continue first. So don't look Calabar. Calabar. Na Calabar town. But they just say Calabar. Wellington, Calabar. Kisi. We see Kisi, Mes. We don't see Wellington, but we don't see Calabar. Kisi. It means termites. They found the area littered with termite hills and termites. Anch, that big one. Kisi, Vi, correct spelling. Not to Kissi. Anyone. Kisi Mes. The Kisi Mes na tiny termites. So Kisi na the mature one. Kisi Mes na they find the small one them. Tiny termites like insects, large numbers of these tiny insects were found in the air. Rokupa, a safe and walled country. As traders, the Vi had storehouses for import and export goods, butter houses, and banks. Rokupa was the location of these important buildings. Such buildings needed protection from robbers. From Tifmane. Therefore, the area was fortified by surrounding it with walls. According to Vi, walled towns that I saw as a boy, there were two walls, an inner and outer. Sentinels were placed on the walls to take out anyone attempting to climb the outer wall into town. Buildings were kept away from the inner wall by about 4 meters, that are 30 feet. Within this space were built sharp-pointed stakes in the ground, such that anyone who escaped the sentinels and climbed the walls to jump into the town would be killed or seriously injured. And we don't try though. We don't try. Rokupa is in the east end of Freetown, near Kisi. So now that Rokupa dey. Why they not talk about Wellington? Even when we give Calabar, you not tell if na the Calabar town. Uncle historian self. Hope say not to purpose for confuse we more. Rokupa is in the east end of Freetown near Kisi. Ro means country, Ku enclosing wall, na the Ku, then Pa is safe. Rokupa, country enclosing wall safe. The fortified place was safe for banks, butter houses, for exchange, and commodity stores. Tripoli. Then one land they don't they occupy again no. Me no see wall. Eh? Because na poti na imi go. Alaji badi say. Right. Now let it go. It be named another place. Tengbe. It say na from Tere Magbere. A sunny, useless place. Papa. Eh? Tengbe, we come out from Tere Magbere. It means a sunny, useless place. And said them fitiayo. Terema, a sunny place. Bere, useless. Bere Junction. Bere means useless. But it's not through the value. Bere na what partimni? What do you mean? Bere Junction. Because I said Bere mean useless na. Eh? Okay. Ata. Why go reach Bere Junction tomorrow? Tell us say yana useless place and officer don't fit there. Yana useless junction. What up ambado bona waiting device say. And say Bere mean useless. Useless job. But actual na cut and short Bere na rogue Bere. So not useless. Then I row. Rogue Bere become a rogue Bere junction, not to Bere junction itself. How can cut and short? So that row na not. Okay. Loud you go. Bere mean useless. The area is a soil-less and a rocky place on the mountain in the west of Freetown. Eh? Most this say we don't know who say cause and fitia start salute. Eh? On the west of Freetown, so sign a Bere inside Freetown. Let's continue. And send at the west, where the sun shines throughout the day. It was so named because it had no soil to grow crops. The soil having been washed into the sea throughout the centuries. The vine could also not build houses on such a rocky place with the tools they had at that time. The vine could not. Okay. The place was therefore useless for farming or building houses. In vine, several words that are 3 syllables or more are often shortened to 2 syllables. Hence, Tere Magbere to Tengbe. A number of Creole words and expressions were adopted from the vine they could found in the place. Example, Bere, Naso Ibi. Before they tell me, Bere just no. He say useless, that a vine, but he say then get different syllables. Now Bere, don't ya, the Creole expression, Naso Ibi. This na hint. This na hint. Yes, where you say Bere. He said, but why they can't say useless now? He said, no, Bere, Naso Ibi. Hey, how they go? Mostly they say something at Tengbe tongue. Tengbe. But if I don't tell you, say, waiting it become now Tengbe tongue. And it's saying at the west. How Tengbe tongue tan? Eh? They're not able to build there because of the rock. And they're not able to plant because the soil having been washed into the sea. Okay. Alright, slow they go. Bere, not so useless so. The expression where the cruden gets, na so e be. Bobo kanaya. Bobo kanaya. Boy, house servant. Kongosa to spread evil news. Kongosa to spread evil news. So a lot of people want to go with the idea of saying a Tengbe tongue. It's rocky. It's hilly town. Okay. But if I don't make it clear for you before you left for Tengbe. Anyway, now they go. Co news. O Kongosa for spread evil news. Ko na news. Ngo na evil. Sa na spread. So na so take Kongosa. Ah. All the native place names from Freetown to Sungo are Vi names with Vi meanings. All other names in the area are English names, either named by the English who came with the Creoles or named by the Creoles. If any other nation had inhabited the area before the Vi, they would have built towns and named them. There are no such towns in the peninsula area. But again, not until we say where the Vi come, now for conquer. So if they don't conquer person in place, then get their own name. Eh? Or that is not possible. Pass the chimney, the old boy make and call with by Farama. Okay. Logo. The 5 foregone overwhelming material evidence we give you. First, not inform we say the Vi with the allies when at the Mende, Loko and Kru were the first inhabitants of the mountainous and pestilential territory that the British later named the colony of Sierra Leone. I just asked Jif and G with him in the answer. Cecilia Momo they asked what's the meaning of Kongosa again. Alright, là goes. Kongosa to spread evil news. Ko mean news, ngo mean evil, sa mean spread. Spread evil news and Kongosa mean. Most did the city will tell you. Koskosu, Fitiai, the intent Kongosa, now you know. Mende, Loko, Kru were the first inhabitants of the mountainous, pestilential territory that the British later named the colony of Sierra Leone. K. Edward Minah, BSc, Diploma in Education, Masters and PhD. Ivan Morris Postgraduate Literacy Award winner, LSE, University of London. So, una will be done they ask, what's in qualification? He say, now I don't give you so, and he say, he na a cultural historian with ethnological knowledge. So now I make a give who the first inhabit Freetown. Minah. Now you account this. You be there last week. Professor Kande, Jimmy Kande, say the first inhabitant of Sierra Leone. Now the Limbas and the Shabros. He say all other people na Kande come. Dr. Minah say the Mende, the Loko and the Kru, them are the first inhabitants of Freetown. Tu comprends pas? You go evidence 1 to 5. I don't lay on that table. I don't open the phone line. You get something for say? If not, we come out now. We're ready back for tomorrow. I be tell you earlier I said they open the phone line. I believe say if we been get the history written down, maybe now the shame, the education system, the shame, now make even for make where they go school back in the days, in the 70s, the 80s, I don't know, for the 60s, with history. All the way to Sabina Pedro da Sintra, Wallace Johnson, slave trade. Yes. Lion Mountain, Serra de Loire. Now they want to do Sabi. Wait again. But today you know always shock me past all. Now typhoid and malaria. You know evidence 1. Typhoid and malaria. Wait today. Typhoid and malaria they kill with people them. Imagine no. Abdullah Kamara see PhD no get respect again. Now then they pan confused with country so. I think for person forget PhD, they do work for it though. No matter what they see the outcome, we still have to respect that. Yeah? Even though something you go and say not benefits we as a country, but most I not say they want to know that they get on you. Where they go and doctor, a big push. I'm talking about people where they write thesis, where they go through the cause. They worked for it. Me that's what I believe. If honor is due, let's give it to them. Left to them. Waiting at the evidence of the accounting. Bruh, don't let me. I don't do me own. We will see. Waiting, maybe another person will fire me. But the book where Professor Jimmy Kande be dey talk about, I don't begin take a look at them. Yes, I get the book now. Yeah. When I Walter Anthony Rodney, A History of the Upper Guinea Coast, when I from 1545 to 1800. Right. Like out Ezekiel. Ezekiel look at something for say about this one. Welcome on board, Ezekiel. What you get for we on this one?
Thank you so much, Triple A. First of all, I really want to commend the man for what he did try for do. Um, you know, the I think, I don't know if not East or South Africa, we didn't get this saying. They say if the lion could write the story, would have now glorified the hunter. But because they right, so the story glorified the hunter. For too long, we don't listen to European writing about we own country, and some of the things that complaints that we will get with professors, I mean, from the 1800s, they've been getting graduates and from FBC, and in those days, we competition been there about writing, especially more emphasis was on literature and government, economics not been there at its peak at that time. Now, mostly politics, and government, and maybe social study and civil. Uh, I don't know when a social study now. Now, been there mostly. So, and it's so heart rendering that they not spend time for write these things. Um, the writing about history, it not go be completely exact because they prove them for lay they come to agreements unless they want them way them be established themselves. They've been do some writing or even scribble way interpretable to a lot of other people. They can easily come to agreement. In no people like science, where you a theory you get for prove them and everybody can easily agree with them unless their own theory disagree with you and they get evidence. And so the history of the Sierra Leone now, this is not competition now. Again, from the parable at the beginning, every writer will definitely get a little bit of mindset where they write. And anybody where he don't write book, where he don't do research, or where he don't do small thesis on anything, it first put up a topic where he want for research. And then topic then they then go put more emphasis. We don't know which topic then where this man been done set in place for say I want for pay a little bit of more emphasis, detail on them particular tribe so that I go able for connector. So as a result, there's more emphasis in that place, and so the one that way then go continue for right, then get motive, then they connect them to the research, and that research will give them the evidence. And so we hope other person will come out with their own research, we then will get evidence, we go connect to waiting, then they talk about, and then we'll begin for compare. But it's necessary at least we get we own country people, then they write we own history. Because remember, the most times we Europeans then they write about Africa, about country, about area, it's always something favorable to them. Then they make for what we believe, say, waiting then seen at that place, they not to think for like at all. And unfortunately, up to this time, that same mentality still, even in Sierra Leone, so much. You will meet people in a salon where then get things that way valuable to you where they come on America. For some reason, then look at the things that way they go with more valuable, more than what thing they get. And so I know get much for really talk negative about this man. Because first I'm glad that somebody they try for write something about we own country, but me I believe say people have been done there first now that place they before 14 40 something way it start in a premise on. I know say the people have been done there at that place, obviously. So it's very difficult for let somebody make a definitive declaration on who that been doing at that place if you not get small history. If you watch this man, probably you go details into Wusa and do the research, you go probably connect her again to London. Who then get the archives and who that they be put the archives and they together? Not the white man. And who that you feel say he go there in favor of the writing, First then they try for make let you believe say we then come and can name that place the one law we believe say nobody no be did it. Meanwhile, now they been get slaves for cargo. So overall, some things that they definitely we say make sense, but at the same time, I want to commend them for way he do the research and put something like this together. Hopefully, other people and will come out and do the same thing. Historians then will come out and do the same thing. Pay more emphasis on specific area and specific group, and then you will connect them to the dates. So now so I see I want to learn more historians and put some things there together where people and they look at me instead of we constantly like what did they say with the Yerebo, the white man, Pedro da Centra, like nobody know not the way don't hear about that. Then name that they we be saying now come then come. So we if I follow they pay more emphasis on we people that we have been getting before the white man can. So I want for commender for that. Thank you so much, Triple A, for taking time and begin for lay things as always they do the research for see something like this where it's very interesting for the country. For law, we begin pay attention to them because it makes sense. If you know history, it will give you an idea of how you will give respect to certain areas, certain things, and want for continue that tradition. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Ezekiel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just see. We'll talk about the history of Sierra Leone. Just take one more call and we go left here for tomorrow. Welcome on board, Mr. Williams. What do you want for? Let we know about this topic today.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. And well, what you mean only to build contribution on that is
So you still there? You safe there?
yeah, let me see.
Why not?
I don't go off. I don't go off now.
Okay. All right.
So I want for really to build contribution to this topic today. The last time the same thing come back, and we the talk say it was Limaman come out. We don't know who's Limaman come out. Limaman come out now Nigeria. I didn't come out. Even the Mende myself na Liberia come out. You see, we Salon people are always in a salon. None of we know own salon. Na we come na different places. Na we come they tell the car we the car maker the way na immigrants them. You see, we Salon people na immigrants na we come. You see, nobody know own salon say na them born now. Naka welcome. So now we only to be contribution and all that.
So that then be did.
Because
If na cow come, we no meet person in there, the place be empty.
yeah, the place be empty. No, we don't not fish the well, you see, all this come to we people there where they say they write history. And they will tell we. None of the people the way they talk about history of Salon. No, even they not even they write book. For there we could not see yes. For there we could not see Nassau Salon we did before. None of the history people they do not do that. In fact, they write there the country the history. We young people that way for talk but we young people them they're not drown. They not write a book where we go give that book they will go educate we say Nassau Salon we did and then people here will meet. People are not easy. People know me there and people know me there in a salon. Na kawika. Who na kawika ne? Na wait man na in discover salon. Na wait man and discover salon. You see? So we go once and we want to know more about salon. Now we see people there. I don't say they get the archives there. They must keep go Englishman then wait man and they keep archives. Oh yes, then they're not good for talk. Then they keep archives. They must know. But me not in a salon, a wait man, then they can't find salon. Not to, we not be there. Na kauka, na salon will begin born, begin will begin, so don't have na salon. We want na kauka I am. We want an immigrant. Salon people are immigrant. Na kauka, you see. So, as I say, the easy people are for terrorists, they're not terrorists. This is not the problem that. If you come to America, they go to the archives. You see, from the terrorists, from America, they tell you in details. We're not getting a salon there. We're not getting them. What a shame of way. In the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, for terrorists, we get to history in there. What do I say? What do I say? What's that? The one really funny little office within nearby country. Then they go make culture or something there. Funny place there. Funny place. Whatever, we not get. It's shame. For little picking their way, grand picking them, we're gonna know the history of Salon. You see? History, the people that write history of Salon, they don't care for writing about history of Salon. Exactly. So now we have contribution around there. Good night. Have a nice weekend.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Williams. Okay. Everybody then getting on. Based on waiting. Bet if I know. But we don't try. At least we don't stir up a conversation where if some other thing itself you don't understand. But some then day where you go pick where today Congo South don't know what in Congo South mean. Eh? Uh-huh. Me, I feel to say I dey blame government of Sierra Leone from trade. I dey blame. I dey blame the education system. I dey blame Sierra Leoneans don't want him to know. Yes. Always to go through so about your history. Don't want him to know. Because if one person begin dig, say one for no, from Trade, you go Egypt, you go Ethiopia, then get pyramid, and go tell say this now from 18, waiting from 15, 14, something. For say, now just leaves them, now you will be interested in. Eh? I just learned to say that the useless junction, baby. Yeah? He said that he's sweeter today. For say they were just interested in having slaves. So they're not able, we not get okay, candidly, that's how I feel. If to say, you see, we island, if we be cherish and whole and fine, yeah. You see, King Jimmy, who said they can't take people and will cherish the whole and fine. Trust me, for don't learn more about Sierra Leone. We for really don't learn more about Sierra Leone. But that I'm not feeling no, but just because even who said them we take we for go with swing. You know me nothing to we. So it is what it is. I don't know about the Gambia, because they take slaves then they too. I don't know about Ghana. If they know their rich history. I know culturally though, like the Gambia, I know say culturally, yes, even Ghana culturally. But Sierra Leone, even culturally, with a sway. With a sway. Yeah, that's what me think. That's what I think. Because until the cultures of Sierra Leone, wait you 1 point pa. As I say, it's a triple two get no man record in three cultures. But go there back tomorrow. Don't do it today. I hope say not go you confuse one. No. Convince yourself, bro. Convince yourself say you're not confused. Because you know count in Africa can confuse you. But according to Edward Minah, Mende, Loko, Kru were the first inhabitants inside Freetown. A judge say, so if now it's man, friend saloon, who then be the slaves them? Who then be the can capture and go sell? Must this say Ghana and Senegal get a thorough understanding of them history, especially related to the slave trade. Yeah, Gorée Island, and Senegal. Ghana then get, I don't forget the name of the place of no return. See how they make their own fine? Go na King Jimmy, go watch we on. Relics, disappointment. Our history was written in different languages that the white man can't understand. So they discard our history and made us to believe what waiting and teach we. Alright. Down the road. Explore Tripoli, go find out something. Now they go no more. Go there back tomorrow. Till we meet again tomorrow, Tripoli say tata.